Do you want to get into virtual wholesaling, but the biggest problem you're facing right now is finding boots on the ground, actual people to go out here and take pictures of your properties, you actually going out here and getting someone to do walkthroughs with you, talk to your cash buyers, walk them through, deal with the sellers, get the pictures so you can actually do probably the biggest mystery in the virtual wholesaling process. Most real estate wholesaling gurus want to charge you a $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 virtual wholesaling course to teach you how to do boots on the ground or find them. Or heck, even when you go out here and look for a video topic on boots on the ground, it's always vague and weird. What I want to do here is really break down exactly how you can find boots on the ground in your virtual wholesaling process. And I hate to say it, most wholesalers, when you look up boots on the ground or virtual wholesaling, this part isn't talked about at all because it's under a course where it's just not talked about too much. So this is technically the fourth part of what was going to be my 3-part virtual wholesaling series that I'm releasing today. So if you want to see the entire 3-part virtual wholesaling series, go below to the description of this video and you'll see parts 1 through 3. But really, I felt like I needed to truly dedicate a video on how to find boots on the ground for virtual wholesaling. So for anyone in the wholesaling industry looking it up, or really people looking in virtual wholesaling for the series masterclass on how to find boots on the ground. So first and foremost, what is boots on the ground? I think I kind of explained it before, but these are actual people in your market that you're virtually wholesaling in. So if I live in Tampa Bay, Florida, and I'm virtually wholesaling out here in Salt Lake City, Utah, I can't physically be there, right? Maybe I'm in Slovenia and I'm wholesaling virtually in Utah. I need somebody in Utah to go out here, maybe after I get the property under contract, to go take pictures, walk a buyer through the property, or generally just look at the house to get the deal sold. Now, I'll be honest with you, everybody thinks, and when I look on YouTube, I even looked today, again, of what to do when you have no money for virtual wholesaling. Most gurus and people are going to tell you, go spend $150 for a photography service or this or that. And really, there's no options for us virtual wholesalers with no money on how to find boots on the ground. So what I want to do is really share the 3 ways wholesalers can find boots on the ground that are free and paid, so we can actually go out here and do it. So boots on the ground. What we're going to do here is basically pay someone to take pictures and walk our cash buyers through the property. Now, a boots on the ground can be a vast majority of people, right? This could be a realtor. This could be a Facebook gig person. We can go on Facebook groups and find these people saying, hey, I need somebody to go out here and take pictures of a property, or photography, only a cell phone's needed, right? Heck, we can go out here and pay a notary to go out here and do this, right? We have a lot of people that like doing this, but the one rule I'm going to tell you for boots on the ground is never, ever, ever let another wholesaler who isn't your partner for this virtual wholesaling transaction actually be your boots on the ground. I cannot stress this enough. If you have a wholesaler who is super friendly and your bro on social media and he wants to be your boots on the ground, your bro will not be your bro no more after that deal, because a lot of wholesalers that are looking to help you out usually end up stealing your deal. Now, I'm not a bitter guy. Other wholesalers being your boots on the ground is not a good option if they are not partnered with you. It is way easier to pay a realtor, a photography service, even a BPO agent photography service to go out here and do it. Heck, I trust a stranger on Facebook over than another wholesaler, because if you have a broke wholesaler and they have no money, they're going to do some crazy things to steal the deal from you. Now, another really great way to find boots on the ground with no money at all, especially when you have no money, actually go out here and have the seller take a picture of the property for free. Now, you're like, wait, the seller's going to take a picture of the house? Well, you're broke. You got no money. What other choice do you really have here? I'm just being honest. That is a free way, and a simple conversation like, hey, Mr. Seller, just really quick, can I get a picture of that roof leak you were talking about? Well, I mean, while you're at it, can you take pictures of the kitchen? Can you take pictures off the lawn, the outside? Just so I can get a general view before we actually have someone go through, just so we get a general understanding of where we have to look at the house so we can come in and out as quick as possible. So the key here is having them take a picture of just one point and be like, well, while you're at it, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? That's the best way to find pictures for free if you're only sending it to a cash buyer. Now, I want to say this again. We do not send the pictures to the cash buyer unless they're qualified on the deal. Do not be this guy or gal that goes out here and gets a list of 500 cash buyers and email blasts them all the photos and the address. That's a big way to get your deal stolen. And as Rick said in the last video here on the series, if you send that out, a wholesaler like me, your competition, is going to go out here and be on your buyers list because you let anyone on that list that's not qualified. You haven't even called them out. You're going to get that deal stolen. The next part is you can actually partner up with other wholesalers to go out here and take pictures for you. That's right. If you got no money, remember, if I'm living in like Europe or something and I'm trying to get someone in Salt Lake City, I can go on one of my live streams. I can go in the comments of this video. I can go on Wholesaling Analysis for Real with 134,000 people in it. Like, do you think one out of 134,000 people are actually going to go out here and work with you? Like, at least one out of 134,000? Of course, there's someone in Salt Lake City that can be your virtual boots on the ground there. Now, here's the caveat. They're going to be your partner, which means you got to pay them half the deal, which is not good. But if you look on the flip side here, they're going to be doing all the dispo. They're going to find the buyer for you. They're going to walk the buyer through, and they're going to handle most of the work that has to be done in person and the dispo side. So yes, you're giving half the deal up, but you have someone that's physically there. So if you have no money, yes, you're giving up half the deal, but again, it's an option that you're not spending $100 to go out here and take pictures. You're doing it for free. Now, if you got to give half of a $10,000 deal, I know it sucks, but again, if you got no money, maybe you don't really have a choice. Now, there's some important rules we have to know when it comes to our virtual wholesaling dispositions. Now, again, to recap everything here, once that assignment of contract is signed, we are going to follow up with the seller and buyer on a weekly basis. This is super important. Every single week, we talk to the seller. Every single week, we talk to the buyer and make sure they're still good. And if they had any questions, please let me know. Just following up, checking in, and seeing how you're doing. I know that sounds weird for a lot of beginner wholesalers, but you just got to understand this. Just following up with someone will keep them in the loop and make them know that, okay, we're legitimate, we're good here. Oh, wow, Mr. Seller, the title company never reached out to you. Let me get on it. Call the title company, make sure they're on you. Call the title company, make sure someone's reaching out to them. If you don't do this and there's a problem with title and some trust is broken with the seller, you're going to lose out on the deal. Follow-up is key and super important here. Next, never, ever, ever, ever let the buyer see the house when it comes to the walkthrough with the boots on the ground without them being qualified. What do I mean by this? If a cash buyer sees the house without being qualified, they're just going to use that walkthrough. Remember, in a virtual wholesaling disposition strategy or in dispositions wholesaling process, you only have 3, 4, or at most 5 walkthroughs. And you probably have 3 if I'm being honest here. You can have with your motivated seller. You can only walk through the property a certain amount of times. You have a certain amount of partners where the seller's like, what's going on here, right? And if you just bring people who are kind of, I'll look at the house, but not too committed on it, you're going to get nowhere here. So the point here is every cash buyer just wants to go see the house and look at it, but they're really not committed on the price or truly committed to buying the property. So this is why it's really important when you actually have a good deal, tell the buyer like, hey, you have to be committed to buying the property. Like, are you okay with this price and everything? Then okay, fine, you can go buy the house and look at it. But if it's a cash buyer that doesn't even have a proof of funds for you, they didn't even prove that they've bought in houses before, what are you doing here? Because that person might be a wholesaler who is, again, going to steal your deal from you. Now, I'm not a big boogeyman about how everyone's trying to steal your deal, but it is true a lot of gurus have programs teaching you how to become fake cash buyers, and you're going to lose your deals. Again, kind of on top of what I've said here, but never let your cash buyer see the house unless they already told you a yes or given you a yes on the deal before seeing it. This, again, is super important here. If your cash buyer has not already agreed on the price and actually saw the pictures of the property, if they couldn't even agree over the phone, they're probably not going to agree when they see the house. Remember, everyone's kind of 50-50 on it, and then they see the house and they might be 50-50 on it. If you tell the cash buyer, hey, I only have a limited amount of walkthroughs I can do on this deal here, are you a yes or no seeing the property? Now, if you can base off the pictures I sent you a yes or no decision, what is it right now? It's a yes, I'm in, I want to buy it. Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to do a walkthrough on Tuesday at 4 p.m. And if the pictures are the same as what you see in person, are you going to be committed to doing the assignment of contract and putting the EMD that day? Yes or no? If they say yes, we're good to go. This is the same thing as conditioning a motivated seller, right? We're conditioning the cash buyer. And when you condition the buyer, your closing rate jumps from 50-50 to like 90-95%. Same thing with a motivated seller. This is why we condition our cash buyers and condition our sellers. No one talks about conditioning the cash buyer, but this is super important. Again, this is important too. Let the seller know that your buyer is your partner on the transaction. And then the cash buyer knows that this is the game plan. You got to remember, I know it sounds weird to say, but in the dispositions process for wholesaling real estate or virtual wholesaling, even you let the boots on the ground know. The cash buyer, you are Zach's partner, just like me. So if the seller asks, you are one of our partners. Not, oh, I'm looking to buy the deal from Zach. I've had some situations where you'll lose out on the deal. You never let the cash buyer talk to the seller directly. That's why we need the boots on the ground there, and you're good to go. Now, I know some situations where the cash buyer does the solo walkthrough with the seller, but that's with cash buyers that have done 3, 4, 5 closings with you that you really, truly trust. Probably for a first-time thing, it's not something we're going to do. Then also, again, I don't know why I have to even put this rule out here, but it's true. Never list the deal on Facebook or Craigslist or email blast it right. Call your buyers yourself. Don't be that guy, like I said before, that emails all their cash buyers. Be the guy that personally calls their list. I see this time and time and time again, where you have 5,000 cash buyers that you pulled off a Facebook list or something, and you put in your CRM and you blast it on email, and that's how you think you do things. This cannot be the furthest from the truth. We are doing high ticket sales. We are selling a $250,000 contract to somebody. Are you going to email someone like, buy this for 250 grand? No, you're going to call them up. You got to get a little bit schmoozy, right? We got to get a little salesmanship here. And the best way to get a cash buyer to commit to a deal is by calling them. Remember, these cash buyers have like 15, 20 wholesalers already on their email list. And so if you get 20 deals sent, what is deal number 16 versus deal number 20 going to do for them? They don't really care. You're just a number. Calling them, building that relationship up when they get 5 deals sent this week, they're going to go with Zach that I actually know or this random email that got sent from me. Real estate is all about trust and relationships, and it's super important to have trust with the seller, but also having the cash buyer trust you and you trusting the cash buyer. Doing this will not only get you more virtual wholesaling deals sold quicker, but you'll actually make more money per deal. So please call your buyers up when you're ready to sell the deal. Let them know, hey, I'm calling you first, letting you know that I have this deal. Are you in or out? And then send the information. Because once you call them, they're kind of forced to look it up if they're behind the computer. Like, Zach's going to keep nagging me if I'm yes or no on this. And kind of forcing the cash buyer, like, well, give me a yes or no, give me a yes or no. Super important to do this. So guys, that's how you find boots on the ground. That's how you actually walk them through and what to say and my rules for the virtual wholesaling dispo with the boots on the ground. Guys, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, thoughts on boots on the ground, and what your strategy is. And like always, if you got any value from this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. Tell me if you love this virtual wholesaling series we did, and I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.